Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the In Fact Blessing the Airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
the biggest show in the world, the SBTV Nation.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Happy Monday, the brand new week and the week of conference championships in double. Whoa, what's up, guys? I just lost you for a minute. We are ready to rock here. We are ready for conference championships in the NCAA and ready to rock here. Good morning to everybody. We are the SBTV Nation and ready to rumble. And I think I got my man, The Dream, calling on. Dream, you there? Hello. Good morning. Guys, we're live right now. We are having some major technical difficulties, but you know what? We are here and we are live and we are ready to rock. And you know what? I am not going to restart the show at all. Because you know what? We got to have a conversation about college basketball, what went down yesterday in college hoop, because some upsets, guys, and some teams now that are not going to be in the tournament because of bad losses over the weekend. Now, Oakland, the Golden Grizzlies lost. We know about that on Saturday. And Monmouth, the Hawks of New Jersey, lost their game, gave up 60-some-odd points in the second half, and lost the game, and it's unbelievable what's happened with them. I don't know how they melted down. They were up 14 points in the first half and ended up losing the game outright, guys. So you know what? Monmouth, you're going to be on the outside looking in, period. Because you know what? That's obviously a horrible loss. Give up 64 points in the second half. Totally brutal, guys. So you know what? Hey, it is what it is, and this team is going to be in the NIT. Big ups to my man, The Dream, who's trying to call in here. We're having a little bit of issues with him, but I'm sure it'll be shortly, guys, as we're trying to get him on the line. But big ups to him on Purdue. Purdue goes into Northwestern. Very, very tough place to play and wins. You know what? Big ups to my man, The Dream, for calling that one. What a stomachache that game was, but ended up with Purdue being victorious. Dream, you there?
I'm here, but it's dusty.
It's dusty, man. All right. Well, you know what? I'm talking about the Purdue victory yesterday.
Yeah, the Purdue victory was a little bit of stomachache. And gang, good morning. As usual, we have a little bit of technical difficulty, which we've been working out. We can't seem to find an answer to. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I can barely hear my co-host, but hopefully you can hear me. And just good morning to everybody. Let's get rocking. Right
on, Dream. So the Big Ten Championship is going to be interesting.
Okay, no doubt. Big Ten Championship should be very, very interesting.
And it all starts, guys, all the power conferences start tomorrow, and I'm very excited about it because all week long, we're going to talk about like the future odds for the conference championships. I think those are going to be just as exciting as the NCAA tournaments because you have a lot of teams that are on the outside looking in right now that need to catch a couple of wins in these conference tournaments. So something to take a look at, guys, and you know what? Hey, there's a couple of squads that I got my eyeballs on, that's for sure. Dream, Cincinnati goes into UConn and blows the doors off them.
Listen, if you guys listened to the show yesterday, we had a stellar day. I had an absolute monster day yesterday as the three-team teaser worked absolutely to perfection. We could have thrown Purdue in there and it would have worked as well. We also were able to get the hockey to work. I talked about the Pelicans beating the Lakers, and I was off the top of my head, and that even ended up happening, coming to fruition. So yesterday was a monster day. Cincinnati, this is a team to be careful and beware of. They are a dark horse. Talked about the middle of the season. They've got a lot of pieces to the puzzle to go far in this tournament. I do think, SMU's there. I'm telling you, man, that end of that tournament, that SMU Cincinnati game that looks like it's gonna, maybe be the tournament championship game. I'll tell you, I'm not willing to count Cincinnati out.
No, definitely not. And you know what
No,
I mean?
I'm not. Yep, go ahead.
They're very similar as far as the odds are concerned to win that American. When you look at it, Dream. So, I mean, we got all the odds are posted for the conference tournament, so I'm pretty excited about it, which we will talk about after we break down what went on last night. But moving forward, Dream, I text you right before the game, and I just had a sneaky suspicion that Wisconsin was going to go ham yesterday and beat up on Minnesota. I love Minnesota. But I just had the feeling that Wisconsin, after losing however many games in a row, was going to come out and do their thing. And sure enough, they were down in the first half and went bananas in the second half, Dream. So they put their foot on the gas.
Well, you talked about it on the program and on the show, and you said that it's a typical game that you think Wisconsin's going to struggle, but they're home and they're going to blow you out. I remember you saying that on the show.
Yeah.
Then you wanted to work with Dusty University as far as Hampton was concerned. Monmouth
won like 15 games in a row. That has been a money train for me, dude.
No, I know it's been a money train for you. My thing with you was just that you were so confident in your conviction as far as you liked Wisconsin yesterday. I was really surprised when you didn't take them.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I just couldn't bet against Minnesota, to be honest with you, because I would have been so mad at myself if I did that. And sure enough, Wisconsin is one of those teams where just when you think they have no business giving as many points as they are, they come out and cover the spread, bro. It's just the way it goes.
Definitely.
And, going back to the Big Ten here, well, staying with the Big Ten, I should say. Dream, you got to pay attention to Iowa here, brother. Iowa is not a bad team. Very athletic.
Yeah, your Iowa team's pretty good. I hear you there. I see what's going on with them. They don't do it for me. I don't like them defensively personally. So that's my struggle with them. I think offensively they're a juggernaut. I'll give you that. I like what they do offensively. Defensively, I think not so fast, but yeah, they are impressive.
Yeah, right. So that might be a dark horse for the Big Ten tournament. Moving on to the rest of it here, a bunch of teams have solidified their spots in the tournament already by winning their conference championships, including Wichita State, who is always in there, bro.
Wichita State is always in. I don't have a problem with them going in. It's the conference is what it is what it is. But yeah, they're in.
Yep. Florida Gulf Coast is in there. They were one of my dark horses. Well, they were favored to win their championship, but they are in the tournament again this year, Dream. Right,
and Florida Gulf Coast, some of these teams, it seems like every year they get in there, maybe win a game and then, bow out gracefully. So we'll keep an eye on them. I'm not going to go crazy with any of those teams yet.
Yeah, right. And I still can't believe Monmouth lost after being up 14 points. That was another situation where it was my last leg of my parlay, and I should have took a live line on Siena.
I do need to discuss the Michigan Wolverines yesterday.
Oh, wow. I know.
They won by close to 40 points yesterday and murdered Nebraska on their home court on senior day. It was the worst home loss ever, by the way, and your boy gave it right out here on the program.
Yeah, you did, man. Surprisingly, when you have senior day and you get murdered like that, that's an embarrassment to Nebraska.
No doubt. So listen, moving forward, the one thing I do want to talk about is I was going over and I was looking at a couple of things about this tournament coming up, and there's a lot of excitement around it. The one thing we have not talked about, we did talk about Florida this season. The one thing we have not talked about, though, is the great job that Florida's head coach has done, Mike White, coming off the heels of Billy Donovan. That program
Yeah.
You know, that Florida program, they're going to give Kentucky, and also Vanderbilt's going to give Kentucky a little bit of a scare in that conference. It's too bad Florida lost their center, because Mike White's done a stellar job getting his team back to the top and getting them where in such a little time turnover since Billy Donovan leaves the program. So I think some accolades need to go out to Mike White. I know you talked about Purdue probably before I came on, but Caleb Swanigan, dude, got to talk about Caleb Swanigan and Purdue. And Purdue right now is the third best three-point shooting team in the nation. So keep that in mind moving forward as far as Purdue is concerned.
Well, especially with the bigs down low, if they could pull rebounds down, you know,
and with the bigs
shots
down low pulling back those rebounds, yes.
You know, so, but I'm not a fan of them, Dream. I just keep remembering Little Rock last year and what they did to them, you know. But anyway, moving on here, guys. I
don't think that they're gonna lose to Little Rock this year, but I think a loss may come in. Now, listen, you mentioned something yesterday, and I'm gonna go into this a little bit because I got our guests calling in. But you mentioned something yesterday that struck me very interesting. You and I were talking about, I believe, the Cincinnati spread. And you had said to me, I said, I don't know why it's 6. I think it should be more. And you said to me, oh, I know why it's 6 perfectly. And you said, 3 on the road and then another 3 because of their record, right?
No.
Okay.
It's
go
a
ahead.
6-point swing, usually in all sports.
Yep.
With home court or home field advantage. So if they're on a neutral site, it would have been 9. If Cincinnati's home, it's 12.
Right.
That's usually what I see anyway. I mean, it could vary based on, let's say if you have a team like in college football that doesn't really have a home field presence because nobody goes to the games, it doesn't really change as much. But then if you have a team like Auburn or something like that has 100,000 people in the stands, where everybody's going crazy, it could be as much as a 7 or 8 point swing. But I think that if they were in Cincinnati, I believe it would have been 12 points.
Perfect.
All right, you like that?
I don't necessarily like it. Well, it's not about me liking it or not. My question to you is, and do we have our caller calling in?
I believe we have a caller calling in. Hello. We do not.
We do not.
We're trying,
okay.
Man. We're trying to get them in here. Having a hard time, guys, but we will do the best we can to make it work. But Dream, that's where I'm at.
My question to you is, because what I'm getting at is, you had seemed to make it seem like the spread basis that they use on football. Okay, gotcha. And that's him talking to me. He says it keeps hanging up. Do you want me to try to let go?
Yeah, why don't you do that, and then we could add you in.
Okay.
All right?
I'll be right back, gang.
All right, sounds good. So, guys, we're doing the best we can here to make this work. I'm just going to tell you that this outlet called Skype is very bipolar. And you know what? I know a lot of people use it, but I'm going to tell you right now, I have mixed reviews about the software. I believe Skype is not the best avenue to be using for a lot of different stuff, especially when you're trying to do a show like this. I think I have my caller on the line. Do we have Vegas on the line? Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, Rafael Esparza, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Not much. What's going on with you guys?
Oh, long time no talk, man. How's it out there in Vegas?
Pretty good. I'm actually in New Orleans right now. I won't be in Vegas until Thursday. I usually stay here when I'm back and forth, going to Costa Rica or just living, doing some stuff in Florida or the East Coast. So I like to stay here. But yeah, I'll be back in Vegas on Thursday.
Oh, fantastic. So how is it bouncing around from Vegas to Costa Rica to New Orleans? You must be having a ball out there.
It's not as all fun and glory because it's work and trying to do your stuff and trying to jump on radio shows. I mean, during football season, I had over 40 shows I was doing from Tuesday through Sunday.
Wow.
So time differences and was a little bit of a struggle, and then doing all this press stuff for my bookie, especially. I mean, I'm just glad that Oscars and all that are over with, because last week just alone was just a killer. Just doing interviews about Oscar odds and Razzie odds and all that stuff. So at some point it gets a little bit hectic just because I don't even know what time zone I'm in. I try to stay in Pacific time zone no matter where I'm at. Costa Rica, New Orleans, East Coast. I try to stay on PST just so I can get my day going. And I don't even change my watches or my cell phones. I try to stay on Pacific time zone just so I can keep some kind of mental game throughout the whole life.
There you go, brother. Hey, real quick before the Dream comes on, because I know he doesn't really know much about this subject, but a lot of underdogs last night in WWE.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
I heard that they were doing that the last couple of weekends. They said the Fastlane they were going to try to make a little bit splash because the last two Fastlanes the rating or the TV viewers were bad and it got a lot of bad press. So I thought they were going to try to pull some little rug underneath all that. So that didn't really shock me. But if you kind of look at it, the storylines would fit a lot better for WrestleMania for what the outcomes that they did. Yes, it was upsets, but if you kind of look at the storylines, it kind of worked as well as it did.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, with Braun Strowman just losing like that, I don't know. That was a big letdown to me personally.
Well, I heard he's in the doghouse in the back room with some of the suits, so that doesn't shock me. Usually, if you're in a doghouse or you did something stupid, they're gonna make you look bad on either a pay-per-view or a Monday Night Raw. So when I saw that just proves to me that he's still not out of that doghouse. I mean, if he was buddies with Triple H or Vince McMahon or everything was all peachy clean, like when John Cena was coming up into the biz and all that, they would just let his streak keep on going. That just tells me right there that he's still not 100% in the good graces of the suits back there. I know he's sloppy in the ring. They said he almost hurt Big Show not once but twice on Raw with 2 weeks ago and all that. So that just shows to me WWE's they're no dummies. If you're gonna keep on being throwing shenanigans in the ring, they're gonna make you look foolish on a pay-per-view or national TV, and that just proved to me yesterday that it's still not 100% back there.
Got it,
gentlemen. Let's now the Dream is back. Let's get to some real sports.
Hey, I get paid by them, so that check comes once a month from the WWE, so that's all that matters.
Raphael, what's going on, brother? Good to hear from you and good to talk to you. Rafi's joining us, in case you guys don't know, from New Orleans at this time.
Yep.
And Rafi, want to get you on the program. You and I had started a little banter back and forth last week in reference to the rest of the country getting legalized sports gambling. And I was under the impression that the NFL, along with Las Vegas, were two of the major entities that were not in favor of the rest of the states in United States getting sports gambling legalized. You seem to think that Las Vegas does not care if the rest of the states gets gambling legalized. Can you please expand on that for me, player?
I would say maybe 6 years ago, if you asked me that question, I'd be like, Vegas does not want sports gambling, all that, just because that's what they have. That was their niche. But now, if you go to Vegas, every casino has a phone app, and they're not just tackling the locals. They want if you guys go back to Vegas and do a show, they want you to sign up for their phone app and bet wherever you want. Not at the book, go bet at the pool, go bet at a show, at the mall. Anywhere you want to go, and then when you leave, you can cash out out of your app, get your money, and go home. Now that everyone has an app and all that, and I just saw it when I was in Vegas that the amount of money that a sportsbook brings in compared to 20 slot machines, they would love to just shut the sportsbook down. Maybe put kiosks there, like you see in England. Like you see in Costa Rica now, a lot of places have kiosks at their soccer arenas. You'll see Vegas will have 2 kiosks, maybe a manager or a supervisor to maybe sign up people or make sure no one's money laundering, and that's pretty much it. Now the way the technology is coming, Vegas will love to have legalized sports gambling everywhere, so they can probably shut down those books and put in a theater, 20 slot machines, 4 Starbucks, and quadruple their profits than what a sports book will bring in.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Very interesting, because I would think that, like I said, my argument was, why would you want, if I was Vegas, I wouldn't want the rest of the country to have legalized sports gambling, because now I no longer have the corner on that particular market. And I understand that the sports supposedly doesn't make as much money as, well, I know it doesn't make much money, period, as the table games or as slot machines. That being said, though, sports gambling does make money. And each of your states, on a statewide basis, every state is crying broke, bankruptcy. They need money. Any way that you can get a shot in the arm of any type of income, no matter how small it is for each state, they definitely want a piece of the pie.
Oh, I totally agree with you on that. But I think the way Nevada is going right now, they're not looking at it as a statewide now. So you're looking, let's say MGM, who's already in Boston, who's in Washington and all that. They have places where if it goes legal, they flip a switch. So not only would that profit go to the Boston, Massachusetts MGM, but that also goes to the bottom line of MGM at the stock market. It doesn't just go to stick in one state. So they're just looking to brand it, and that's why you have all these offshore casinos have gaming licenses in the United States and in Vegas. Because once that switch comes on there, you're not going to see let's say Buffalo Wild Wings have sports betting machines if it gets legalized in New Jersey without being sponsored by a Harrah's or MGM or a William Hill. It's not going to be, hey, just because it's legalized, Buffalo Wild Wings is going to start now accepting wages. They're going to have to go through another red tape of bringing someone in there like a Harrah's, a brand that already has a license. They're just not going to have anybody open up. It's not like I can open up a garage in New York and start taking sports bets just because it's legalized. Those companies, the Harrah's, the Caesar Palaces, the MGMs, William Hills, MyBookie, Bovada, which all have licenses here already in the United States. So if that ever comes in there, if you own a bar or if you own a business, you want to start accepting sports wages, you just can't just open up one for yourself. You have to actually have one of those people get in, and then you have to split the profits of how it goes, plus the taxes that the states get.
Gotcha. I understand. Okay, good point, and great information as always. Next question on the mind, and Hat and I had gotten this a little bit prior to you calling, and what I was trying to get at was, I want to know, is there a difference between a basketball spread and a football spread? Hat seems to think that pretty much it's the same number, but I didn't necessarily agree with that. And he was elaborating as far as using the 3 number, and when you're away, having it as much as, what were you saying? 12 at home, 3 away, 6 away?
Talking about home field or home court advantage. In the Cincinnati game when they were playing UConn yesterday, Cincinnati was only given 6. And right. I said that if Cincinnati was home, they'd be given 12. That's the numbers that I've been seeing, a 6-point swing. But it's all commentative on how deep and how aggressive the home court or home field advantage is. What's your thoughts, Rob?
Well, I always tell people, if you're looking at college football football to basketball, first of all, a number is about a 6-figure difference compared to college basketball. Yeah. So if you're looking at that Connecticut-Cincinnati game, when we look at college basketball and we're doing our numbers and how we're going to do that, you know what the first thing that we look at is what time they're playing. This game played early. We're not going to – that number either opened up overnight that usually has a minimum bet of maybe $500, and it was the first game on the board that tipped off. So you're not going to get as much action if it was a college football or an NBA game that may tip off at 7 p.m. And this was a 9 o'clock game. The number was adjusted, not knowing that you weren't going to get hurt, no matter if it was a 2-point different line. Yes, that number should have probably been around 8 or 9 that I thought. I think I made my number. I have to go look back. I think I made it 8. But at the same time, I knew where the books were coming from, making it 6.5. Tried to get that early road money, because normally you get home money. You get teasers on home dogs. You get stuff like that. So they were just covering their butts through the parlays, not through the straight bets. But if you're looking through football and college football, or football through basketball, you always have to admit one point is probably a 6-figure difference when it comes to football to basketball. And then also in college hoops, you gotta, especially on the weekends, time games are so crucial on how the money comes in and how we make a number, knowing how long it's going to be on the board and live.
Oh, okay.
Wow. That's
Interesting.
great information. Now, gang, that's great information right there to know. And that maybe answers a lot of questions as to our success on the weekends as the difference is our success during the week. So there's definitely a distinct so what you're basically saying to me, there's definitely a distinct difference in college basketball spreads as opposed to football spreads, correct?
Oh yes, not even. Let's say, for instance, let's say that Cincinnati Connecticut game. I'm talking. Let's say if I went over to William Hill in Las Vegas and I wanted to put down $10,000 on it, I can guarantee you that limit was probably anywhere between $5,000, just because of the time of day. If they can get that money back on the other side, let's say if I went in, what time that game tip off? 9 o'clock Pacific time. Let's say if I went in at 8:30, they're probably only going to give me $5 just because they only have a half hour to try to get that money back, if no one else was betting that game. And who's up at 9 o'clock in Las Vegas, who was partying it up all Saturday night to try to get that money back? So yes, if it was a football game, they would have been lined up all day on Friday, all day on Saturday to bet this Sunday NFL game where they can get that money back all day through Friday, Saturday. College basketball, totally different. So the books probably had that number up like around maybe 5 or 6 o'clock on Saturday. Probably no one even looked at that Connecticut-Cincinnati game all through Saturday night because you had UFC, you had boxing on free TV, plus Duke, North Carolina, Bulls game on TV. They probably didn't even look at that Sunday game. So it's so hard to get that money back on a Sunday college basketball game so early. So they were probably not taking big bets on it.
Got it.
Excellent information. Thank you so much for clearing that up for me. Those are incredible facts. Well, not incredible, but those are great facts to know, guys, moving forward and wagering, just to put in the back of your head and keep a mind on, especially when you're comparing the weekend Saturday games as opposed to some of the week games. And now, especially with the tournaments coming up, obviously there'll be a little bit more changing in some of some of the strategy we use possibly to put in our wagers.
Right on.
So, Rafi, what else is going on with you? I know you were in Costa Rica for a while. I don't know if you're still there. Are you in Vegas? What's going on with you, brother?
Yeah, I work for MyBookie still at Costa Rica. I usually try to get down there at least 4 times a year. I'll probably be down there sometime in April after the finals because I'm going to be in Vegas for a while. After I leave here, I'll be there from Thursday, and then I'll be there all the way through the month of March and the first couple of weeks of April because I'm going to go down to Phoenix and watch my my Cubs do some spring training and see some family. But, yeah, I'll probably head back to Costa Rica. It's fun. It's just, I tell people, it just amazes me how much money that people bet on just the craziest stuff. I mean, I'm mostly their entertainment and crazy odds guy. There's guys. His name is Vern. He's one of the head odds makers over there. He does all the basketball, which, I mean, anybody can be an odds maker for basketball, college hoops, NBA. It's pretty much just copy and paste whoever posted up first. And if you want to add anything different, that's pretty much. But I'm usually the guy, if you see we have odds and will OJ get parole, that's me who made that. If you see the Oscars, the Razzies, wrestling, will Donald Trump be impeached, all that kind of crazy stuff, that's me doing behind the closed doors at MyBookie trying to get and it's more of a shock and awe, but more for entertainment basis. We believe that, hey, if someone's going to put money on the Oscars to win Best Picture and they cash, we want them to bet a future. We're going to send them an email and say, hey, you know what, congratulations on that Oscar winning. Don't forget baseball futures are up. Don't forget MLS soccer just kicked off over the weekend, blah, blah, blah. We're going to remind those people who won that bet, that maybe $100 bet or $500 bet on an Oscar bet or a wrestling bet. Hey, don't forget World Baseball Classic started last night, and there's games on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Bet it here. So it's not only just because we're bored and I have nothing else to do, but it's all about the bottom line, and especially when it's close to football time. That's when we send out those mass emails where we got those people who bet on entertainment sports and say, hey, now don't forget the NFL kicks off, college football kicks off. Don't forget UFC 210 is around the corner. So it's all about customer service. It's all about keeping that person in that same place. And I think that's why I like helping MyBookie out, because I'm at free will. I can post whatever I want. Right now I'm researching who's going to die next on Stranger Things season 2 that starts in Halloween weekend. So they told me the most craziest stuff. They want me to do celebrity death pools. So I've been doing research, like who would die next, a head-to-head matchup, and who would die next. I have free will on what I want to post, but for me, I have to have a line somewhere.
Oh, no doubt. That's great, man.
Ralph, you should post the over and under on Will Logan suck.
You know what? I saw that movie because I get to see a lot of movies advanced now. Now that I do a lot of writing for other entities and stuff like that. I kind of liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I like the way I like how it really followed the comic book. I'm not the biggest comic book dork, but I am familiar with the comic books and the storyline. So I kind of like the way it kept it to the comic books. And it kept it, and it said a nice goodbye to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, not because it just sucked and he looked old and stuff like that. I kind of liked it. I thought it was, but also I kind of liked the preview of Deadpool 2. That I think that was probably worth my viewing.
Yeah, the Deadpool 2 is getting a lot of buzz. They had some success with 1. It was definitely different, a little bit artsy, a little bit out of character. They went with the R rating, not trying to get everybody in the movie as far as kids are concerned. You know what was crazy about Deadpool? The one thing that I found a little bit bizarre about it, when I went to go see Deadpool, the original one, at the opening, people were in there with their kids, and I was like, whoa, this is like some really strong content to come with your kids. I'd never take my kids to see Deadpool, and I'm already, in my kids' case about some of the stuff that they watch as it is now, nonetheless to watch a movie like that. But, great job for them going out on a limb and doing that. I don't know if that was Ryan Reynolds' call or the studio's call, but Deadpool 2 looks to be good.
You know what? It's interesting how you said that because I had an interview with Hollywood Reporter during Oscar weekend and stuff like that. And that was one of the main questions they asked me was about how some of the movies now that used to be maybe PG-13 are now coming out R. And I think the reason you're gonna start seeing more R, because of Netflix and the big bang that Netflix has done, and to bring viewers there and stealing stuff away from how they can just pretty much put anything they want on Netflix except maybe X-rated. But at the same time, I think the media and I think Hollywood finally realized, hey, you may tell your kids don't watch this, but I can guarantee you your kids are going to be watching it either underneath the bed, at their boyfriend's or girlfriend's house, at school, at their friend's house, at the playground. I think Hollywood, and they finally realized, hey, even though parents are trying to do the best that they can, and my brother tells me this all the time, who has 4 kids, and says, hey, his 2 oldest daughters, hey, please don't watch this, and then 2 days later he finds out they watched it at their best friend's house or at school or on a bus or at whatever. I think Hollywood has finally realized, hey, at one time we were trying to protect them, but now there's too much money to be left on the table because kids are going to do what kids are going to do. Teenagers are going to do what teenagers are going to do. And I'm not a parent. I'm so glad I'm not a parent because I don't know how you guys do it.
I think basically it's the times and acceptance. I mean, things just aren't, nothing nowadays, it seems, is unacceptable anymore. Things that, 15, 20 years ago were like taboo. You don't have that anymore in our society. Based on the media, I think some of that's great, and then also some of that's bad. And what Hollywood should do, which I think is awesome, let the parent be the parent. If you're going to put out a movie, put out a quality movie, and a lot of this stuff, the superhero stuff, it can borderline on being R-rated with the violence and everything that's involved in it. So I think what Hollywood's trying to say is, you know what, we're just going to put the movie out, we're going to let the parent be the parent, and hopefully the parents will step up. Same with sports. Guys, those athletes are not role models, and I'm I tell my kids, check this guy out, watch his game. Alex Rodriguez, perfect example. My kid's into baseball. To me, Alex Rodriguez, phenomenal baseball player. The flip side of that is, hey, listen, you're not going to do drugs. I don't want you doing drugs, and you shouldn't be, getting involved in none of that stuff. And you want to win and play on a natural level. But to watch his swing and watch his mechanics and pay attention to the time that he spent to put in, yeah, you could check him out and watch that and be cognizant of that. But the flip side of that is, I'm there as his parent. I'm there to try to mold him as the role model, not look towards an athlete or movie or whatever to use as role models. So I think it's all about the parents. But Robbie,
I couldn't agree more about that role model. I tell kids when I do some guest speaking and talk to them, like, there's 2 people that you should be role models: your parents and maybe male or females in the armed services. Those are only people I think that should be role models.
Got it.
No, I agree with you 100%. 100%. Hey, brother. Well, listen. It was good having you on the program. Good you kicking it with us and giving us that information out in Vegas. Love to talk to you. Hey, I didn't get a lot of female basketball out of you this season. What's up?
Yeah, I actually it was just a mediocre season. I was down, and then towards the second half, I finally had a nice run to put me very, 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 very small in the plus. I think I was plus maybe $10, and I took my wife to a Happy Meal dinner that night for stuff like that. So it was a kind of a rough grind in the WNBA. But it's funny how I'll have a rough grind in the sports, and I'm supposedly really, really good at, and then hockey, where sometimes I struggle, just blew up last year. And who would have thought a Mexican have being one of the best hockey handicappers of last year? So it is what it is, but there's always a grind.
All right.
All right, brother.
Thank you very much for calling, Ralph. We appreciate it.
Take it easy, guys.
All right.
Take it easy, Rafi. Thank you.
Well, Dream, that was interesting talking about superhero movies.
Stop it.
You know what? Hey, people are making money in wrestling, and you're going with superheroes. I love it.
But anyway, the money you make in Superman versus Batman, you think wrestling made more money or that movie?
I'm talking about gamblers, player. All right, Dream. Listen, I just found something interesting.
Yes.
I don't know. Are you playing any futures?
I am.
I just found Iowa at 1,000-1 shot for the NCAA tournament. This team could go far.
I do think they could go. You know what? It depends, dude. That's why I can't go crazy yet, because you look in there. Remember last year there was like that, because this happens every year with this tournament. There's one bracket that one of the teams, North Carolina, Kentucky, one of your top teams, gets to just coast.
Yeah, right.
And then there's another bracket where there's it's like Battle of the Titans in that bracket where everybody's dope. So it depends. If Iowa gets slotted somewhere that's really light, yeah, they could. But if they get slotted somewhere where they're seeing like a Cincinnati right out of the gate, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. I understand that. It all depends. But I mean, right now is probably the time to put some stuff in, considering the fact
you're right there. I mean, you're right. I can't disagree with you with that. I mean, that was successful for you 2 years. I mean, a while ago. You know what? 5 years ago?
No, 3.
3 years ago. That was successful, and how you made your run then. So now if you put it in now, even better, right?
Yeah, I mean, Butler 70-1. Butler's got a good shot. I know they lost the other day.
No, I'm not messing. No.
No, all right.
I'm not messing with you with that Butler. No, you're not gonna. You gonna try to poison me with that Butler again?
Dream, let's get into tonight, because listen, yes. we only have a few minutes left here.
Yes.
So we got to get into tonight and see what's going on as far as collegiate basketball and NBA. See if we have
collegiate basketball, I'm gonna look towards you, because tonight is the battle of a lot of those conferences that you're a little bit vested in are kicking off tonight, or in their second Youngstown State, all that stuff's going tonight this evening. Gonzaga starts their conference tourney as far as that's concerned. So this is more your territory than mine.
And you know what? I have nothing, because now. I'm looking at my future plays. You don't
want to get no BYUZ player?
No.
Get St. Mary's?
No, I'm not interested. But I can tell you this much.
At an 11:30 start, so you're up at 11:40,
forget it.
Sweating buckets.
I do like Villanova to win the Big East minus 140, though.
Okay.
They lost last year in the Big East final. I think they'll win the Big East this year. I think they're minus 140. I think is a great situation for Villanova.
And that tourney starts Thursday, correct?
Wednesday.
All right, so let's take a look at. Hold on, let me pull up my numbers too, really quick. Let's talk futures really quick for a second, gang, and bear with us. This information might be relative to you, as we won't be back on until Thursday.
Right.
So some of these conference tournaments have already started. So I'm pulling mine up right now.
Okay. A lot of conference championship odds have been posted, guys, and I mean the Big Ten and the ACC are going to be my favorites to watch. Watch them all unfold. And there are going to be a lot of games during the day, guys, so remember that. You got them up playing?
I'm pulling them up right now. I got the big bracket, which is stupid. I don't know why they're doing that. Hold on a second.
No problem. Take your time. It's all good. I can tell you this much, guys. Oregon is favored to win the pack over UCLA, over Arizona. Arizona plus 370 to win the pack. Arizona might be a pretty good value there.
Arizona might be a pretty good Arizona to win the pack is a great value. Even though
370, Dream. Every $100 you win, you make 370.
Yeah, it's not a bad shot.
And Kentucky plus 120 to win the SEC. Interesting.
I like Kentucky. That's nice. That's good.
Yep. Gonzaga minus 320 to win the West Coast. Probably going to win. Probably going to be a number 1 seed.
Yeah, where I'm looking, I don't have them.
All right.
Ugh. All I'm getting is NCAA championship, not the tournaments.
All right. Well, I could give you the odds, whatever you want. Let's talk about the Big Ten. Which team?
So what kicks off Wednesday? Let's start with that.
All right. Wednesday is the Big Ten Conference Championship. You have Purdue plus 165, Wisconsin plus 220, Minnesota plus 650, Maryland plus 850, Michigan plus 950, and Michigan State plus 1100. Those are your tops.
Right. What was Maryland?
Maryland is 850. Iowa 30-1 shot to win the Big Ten, kid. I like Iowa at 1,000-1 to win the NCAA tournament. I love it. I think it's great.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna. Yeah, I don't mind. Listen. I think the Big Ten's gonna go through Purdue, and unfortunately, I'm gonna say Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, huh? They are battle tested.
Wisconsin's good.
They are battle tested.
Yep, I think it's going to go through Purdue and Wisconsin. All right, let's move over to the SEC.
All right, SEC. You got, let's see. Kentucky is favored. Let me just pull it up, guys. Give me 1 second. Kentucky plus 120. Florida plus 170. South Carolina plus 1150. Arkansas plus 1,600.
As far as the SEC conference is concerned, I think it's going to be Kentucky, but I think if you want to look at one team that you might want to take a shot with using your system, I definitely think Vanderbilt to win the SEC tournament is not a bad stretch. And that should be
33-1.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome. All right.
I think Vanderbilt is not a bad stretch. However, I think Kentucky wins that hands down.
All right, sounds good. Let me see what else we have pulling up. Oregon is favored. We talked about the pack, plus 150, UCLA plus 175, and Arizona plus 370. Kind of like Arizona plus the 370 there.
Arizona plus 370 and UCLA plus. Everybody loves Oregon. I know Oregon's fast. I see it. I just don't. I don't know what the. I don't know why everybody loves Oregon over UCLA. UCLA beat Oregon already, and I don't know. People seem to have forgotten about that.
Right on.
And people like UCLA more than they like Oregon. I personally like UCLA. I like UCLA out of the pack to win the pack, and I like UCLA to win the NCAA tournament as well.
ACC tournament starts tomorrow, brother, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You got North Carolina plus 150, Louisville plus 330, Duke plus 370, Virginia plus 550, Florida State plus 800, Notre Dame plus 1150. Vatech 40-1. What's that?
I was going to say, to me, Louisville will be my only, maybe possibly sleeper. I got in North Carolina winning the whole thing, though.
All right, so you got Virginia Tech 40-1, Wake Forest 50-1, Georgia Tech 100-1. You know those are my three squads right there.
There you go, Hat. You got your
Kid, I like the conference tournaments because I honestly feel that some of these teams may take their foot off the gas a little bit and not care so much, a.k.a. Villanova last year.
But do you think Villanova took their foot off the gas? Because I don't. I mean, they played.
I think they didn't show up. I think they
played
didn't show
the
up.
championship game.
Yeah, but they got murdered. They
got beat, but not because they took their foot off the gas.
They were getting beat up by Seton Hall that whole game. And made
but they didn't just. What I'm saying is, they didn't just walk in and be like, "Okay, look, we're good. We're just going to go to the NCAA tournament." They went in there trying to win. I mean, I don't.
An interview with Coach K 1 year in the ACC championship, he said that his guys needed the rest for the big dance, so he rested some guys. Just saying, it happens, Dream. Did
he win the big tournament that year?
No, they lost.
They lost. Listen, I'm mixed about that. Okay. I don't know if I agree with that. I'm mixed. I mean, I agree with Coach K talking about it, but still, Coach K is full of it because nobody wants to win more than them guys. You watch them guys on the sideline. It could be Duke versus like Booty basket weaving, and he's over here coaching them up. You know, so that's a tough call. And then how do you rest these guys? You're talking about 20-year-old kids, they don't need who needs rest when you're 20? I used to play basketball all day.
Yeah, but you're traveling, you got academics, you're back and forth. You know,
stop. You're clowning. You're smoking weed. You're
so what?
Killing it with cheerleaders.
All right, Dream. We got to wrap this thing up here, man. NBA, what do you got?
Definitely. Let's move over to the NBA. Cavs. I think I had one spot here to look at the NBA, and I wanted to ask you about it.
Cleveland
Grizzlies
Cavs.
Are playing. I love you took that breath. Grizzlies are playing Brooklyn tonight, and two spots in the NBA. First of all, the Cleveland Cavaliers are playing the Miami Heat tonight in Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm all over Cleveland tonight.
I'm all over Cleveland as well. It's a revenge spot. I'm all over Cleveland, gang, along with Hat. I just needed him to give me the go-ahead, so we're definitely going to fire off on that.
Yes, absolutely.
And guys, in case I sound a little different right now, a little bit let me lost, please understand, I can't hear any of the music, so the program seems completely foreign to me right now.
Well, you know
so
it's this. I was given a bad review to Skype. Skype has an awful review. And guys, you know what, too? I know we're bouncing around a little bit, but we are taking the Cavs tonight, and I don't know where else I'm at. I may take the Spurs over the Rockets.
All right, and I would leave that alone because that Rocket team has been somewhat problematic down there in the Spurs. What's your spread on the Spurs?
Spurs minus the nasty 4.
Nasty 4, yeah. Good luck with that. Hat, talk to me about this. Talk to me about the Grizzlies and the Brooklyn Nets over and under total at 213.
That's a lot of points.
I absolutely agree with you.
That is a lot of points. But you know what? Brooklyn does have a chance not to play any defense whatsoever, but the Grizzlies offensively is not a great team at all.
I absolutely agree with you. I saw that. It stuck out to me like a sore thumb. The 213, I was looking at that under. I think you could have a shot. Guys, I'm probably not going to play this. I'm not big on these totals, especially right now because I haven't been really vested in the NBA yet. But that under 213 seems like a hell of a lot to me for a nasty Grizzle team and an awful Brooklyn team. Sure. But 213 points seems like a lot of points to be scored between those two squads.
Right on, brother. All right.
Last but not least. Oh, you got something else?
No, I'm good.
All right, last but not least, I'm going to move over to the ice. As the ice has been stellar, we won ice all weekend long. In fact, the ice, ever since Hat asked me why I give out hockey, has done nothing but win. So thank you very much, Hat, for disrespecting my hockey. Please continue to do so.
Yeah.
Tonight, we're going to go Washington Capitals over the Dallas Stars, and I like the Rangers to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. I like the Capitals a lot more than the Rangers. Obviously, the Capitals are home. Rangers are on the road, but I still like the Rangers to beat the Lightning. Sharks went down last night, but they went down to a very good Minnesota Wild team. I do like them in a bounce back spot tonight, but I'm going to stay away. Game's starting at 8, so I can't even look to it as a late night, but I'm going to try to stay away from the Sharks over the Jets. I do slightly like the Sharks over the Jets, but I like the Capitals and I like the Rangers a lot more.
All right, sounds good, man. Sounds good.
All right.
So that's going to do it for us, man.
Once again, big thanks to Rafael Esparza for coming on the show and gracing us with his presence, giving us a little bit of that information behind the scenes in Vegas. Gang, we're sorry about the technical difficulties. Sorry about the late start. We got some things going on. We're trying to fix it, but we got a couple of the old problems still creeping its head up on us. But just hang with us. Bear with us. We promise we will get this completely worked out in the future. I'm the Dream. Always remember who you're with. Make the most of each and every day, as you cannot get this time back.
All right, guys. Sounds good. So we're going to be looking at future odds, in the next upcoming days. Obviously, we have the conference championships where you could probably make some money with some dark horses. We also have the big bracket, and we do have some very, very good odds. If you want to hit me up on a DM or an email or whatever, feel free, and we could discuss them. But I'm finding some serious, serious value. I mean, when you have an Iowa at 1,000-to-1 shot, the way this team is playing, I think it's a very, very apropos spot to get involved with Iowa, to be honest with you. Guys, we love you to death. Go out there, rock and roll this week. Grab the world by the balls and get that money. Let's go.